Good morning, guys. So we are going to jump straight into it. I know many of you have watched the news, it's on social media, so you heard the tragedy that's going on in Florida. First and foremost, we want to give our prayers. We pray that everybody makes it out safely or can bunker down and safely make it through it. If you guys have been watching our channel for quite some time, you know that we planned on going to Florida. So Hurricane Milton um, is running rampant in Florida.
And it's definitely throwing a wrench into our travel plans. So right now we have the Airbnb booked as of right now, but we've had that thing booked for about since the summertime. So we're kind of hesitant on buying our plane tickets. So we're just trying to figure out what we're gonna do because this is gonna be like our first year we decided to travel
for
Christmas, and we didn't want to buy all the toys, but now with this hurricane stuff, we don't know like what it's gonna look. So we were gonna spend the majority of our time in Orlando, Florida, and I'm not sure is the Hurricane Milton making its way all across through Florida. We also don't know like what the rebuilding plan is gonna look like. So we're definitely keeping an eye on the weather and just to see this trip
if we should still go through with the trip.
Yeah.
Like we're not by any means trying to sound selfish by saying like, oh man, like Hurricane Milton is ruining our trip. No, not by any means. That's not what we're saying. It is throwing a wrench in our plans, and we're more so worried about the Floridians that are there, that are bunkering down, that aren't going to evacuate, or that don't plan on, to evacuate. Um, but it is a concern of ours, right? Like we don't want to put all of this money into this trip, and we get there and it's not what we thought,
or we can't get there at all because they're not letting flights go out. So
I think by Christmas though, it's hurricane season now. Hurricane season I think ends the end of October, beginning of November, I believe. So it'll be almost 2 months post. So hopefully, we'll be fine.
Now I was watching a ton of TikTok videos, and I'm not sure if they're saying that Orlando is supposed to get hit, or they're using like the Disney theme parks as like a shelter.
Maybe.
And I think it was, from what I'm getting, is that they're using those as a shelter. So I'm not sure if they're going to get hit like the other parts. I'm thinking Tampa, Florida is like where it's mainly getting hit at.
But I think Florida is pretty big, so I mean it could hit parts of Florida and not hit other parts.
And other parts could probably get some of the effects from that particular spot. But let us know, guys. I know a lot of people are planning on traveling during the holiday seasons, and if you guys are going to Florida or nearby, like, what are your travel plans gonna be if the hurricane gets too bad where like they're in the rebuilding stage for like months, or we can't even fly out? I just want to know or hear you guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah. Also, what this put me in the mind of? Things like this I feel like are learning experiences, or you can take these types of things and learn from them. Like, how many of you guys have an evacuation plan, even if you're not in Florida, if you're somewhere else that has tornadoes or
because we
bad storms or whatever the case may be? Do you and your family have an evacuation plan? Like, if you have to evacuate, right, would you be able to? Do you have a resource? Would you, these are things to be thinking about. Maybe putting up resources so that you can evacuate. And by all means, like, we don't have the money to just up and relocate, like if we had to, or if we had to evacuate. I mean, I'm pretty sure we would figure it out. We have a car. I know a lot of people were saying like the Floridians were trying to evacuate. Some of them were running out of gas because traffic was just so horrible.
Traffic is so horrible. Like it was crazy how many hours it's taken just to get Little Miles. And Florida is in a little state, obviously. So like you're gonna be driving through that thing for a nice little bit trying to actually get out of that state. And plus everybody's trying to leave right now. So that just makes it even worse.
Yeah, so these are things to think about. Learn from other things, that are going on in the world, even if it's not going on in your part of the world. Come up with an evacuation plan if if you need to or if you have to.
And we're operating out of the Midwest, so we're definitely keeping an eye on Hurricane Milton and just
the effects that
hopefully
may.
it doesn't get too bad like they're
Yeah.
saying. Like I've heard wild stuff like they're saying like um, just write your name on your body, like just crazy stuff, like outrageous stuff. I'm like, what?
And I think some of that is panic, and some of it is trying to get followers and stuff. But I'd say just learn from it, right? Put your important documents in a fireproof safe, waterproof, fireproof safe, like your passports, your birth certificates, your social security numbers. Your social security cards. Granted, if disaster do strike, those are going to be the last things that are on your mind. But if they're in that type of, I guess, what do you call it, enclosure or encasement, maybe they'll be saved and you don't have to start all the way over getting, your birth certificate and all of that stuff. Granted, now it's easier, but passports aren't easy to get, right? You need those things to be handy, and I feel like everybody should have a passport. And they aren't cheap; they are a little bit expensive. But when you get some extra money, I think passports are a good thing to invest in. I think canned goods are a good thing to invest in. Bottled water, just stuff like that. So where if you're stuck in a house for a long time, or if you need to evacuate with your family, at least you guys can have food for a couple of days, or you know what I mean, just stuff for a couple of days. Also, always have cash on hand.
For sure. And so we're gonna end the vlog, but we just want to know what you guys' thoughts on the hurricane, and if you guys are traveling, how are you guys gonna?
How do you feel, and do you think it's going to affect your
Or
travels?
do you guys feel safe, and do you guys think, yeah, like you said, like will it affect? Do you guys think it will affect your traveling these upcoming holiday seasons?
Yes.
Drop in the comments. And to the meantime, make sure you like, follow, comment, and let's just talk about it. Peace.
Peace.